gentlemen, the reason why I've called this meeting is to discuss everyone who didn't wear a black shirt.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo. I'm sorry.
Well, this is black. So it might look like dark blue, but it is black.
No. You get it.
It's hot.
It didn't go purple. Good for you. Thank you so much. How can I be of help?
So you've been part of the DC animated verse for quite a while now. What made you want to be part of Young Justice?
I didn't know it was going to be. I mean, they asked if I wanted to, and I've been such a fan of this thing that I can't think of another show that I was a fan of that I got to be a part of. That's like super rare. I watched this just like everybody else did when it came out. And it's so weird now being on the show, and because it's not like they do a fresh. We even talked about this. There's every plot point is paid off. Like they don't just leave something hanging, and we're actually picking up those threads and continue to weave with them. So there may be something we talked about in season 3 that speaks to something from season 1 or 2, and I'm like, yeah, I forgot about that. So it makes me want to go back through and watch the series again now with fresh eyes and knowing where it goes. You know, it's kind of cool.
So you are Brian Martin.
Brion! Come on. Who would call him Brian? It's like, this is Gary.
40 years. Did you call him Brian? For 40 years in my head.
Was it Brian?
I've been calling Brian in my head for 40 years. I did not know.
Yeah, Brion Markov. What's weird is like, I totally get it. B-R-I-O-N. That's Brian. When I saw it, it was like Brion. Brion Markov. His name. So yeah, Markovian. So Brian. Wouldn't that be great if that was his name? I'm Superman. I'm Batman. And I'm Brian. Yeah, right? Yes, you had a question.
No, I just, I was going to try and figure out, like, how you're playing him, because sometimes, like, they don't want to lean too hard into Eastern European.
It gets really character if you're not careful. And that was something we worked that first episode, man. We wanted to dial it in, and especially wanting to make sure it sounds authentic when there's nothing authentic about it. It's completely made up. But it's like Klingon. There is a language. Elfish. There is an actual Elfish language that people have studied and mastered. So it's understanding that we have to pay homage to an established framework and structure and universe, but also making sure that we're not keeping it too within the parameters of that and being able to make our own show, being able to create our own creative. Man, it's pretty dope. This is someone who's kind of fringe. I mean, they're calling it the outsiders, and there's something about that that's very, very true. You look like Shatner, by the way. It's great. Yes. You have a question? I have a question. The shadow with the mustache is brilliant. Wouldn't it be great if he was like, I wanted to ask a question about the show. Why am I not on? I didn't know anything about Geoforce. I remember hearing about him. I was like, oh yeah, but it was super kind of fringe. And to me, that's brave and bold. Oh my gosh. Because the temptation is to just take a character you've seen and innovate on it. Give it a new skin. Give it some new twist on canon and present it as a new character. Or you can pull a character from the depths and go, let's bring him to center stage and put him in the spotlight and really flesh out a story. And that's what Greg and Brandon like to do. They did it with Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is even a little bit more of a, not fringe. I mean, more people know who Blue Beetle is, but he's not like Aquaman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman. He's not main character. He's B-list. So for me, the thing that is universal about these characters is that internal conflict reflects the external conflict that's back and forth, right? We're in the middle of it. Hold on, I want to answer a question with my friends. Just 5 more minutes. We're building a fort. The notion of greatness being thrust upon someone and the very precarious place that positions a human soul. What do I do with this? Because sorry to steal from another universe, but with great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. And what do you do when, first of all, you have to deal with this thing that you now have in you, this power that you have, and it's a power you can either create or you can destroy. And to watch in real time a character go through that metamorphosis and see which side of the coin he lands on. As an actor, it's incredible to play, and as a fan or as a viewer, it's incredible to watch.
You know Shatner's 87 years old.
He's 98. He's 105.
He looks like 87.
87. He looks like Shatner. Shatner's younger brother. Shatner's younger brother. With better hair. You ready?
Thank you
Guys,
so much.
thanks for hanging out.
If I sat next to you,
Oh, you were there, Shatner.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Hi.
How you doing?
You're just saying.
So last we left off with Arma, she was not having a good day, just to say the least. I know you guys can't say much, but can you at least tease us where do we find Arma in her emotional state?
So I'm just gonna say So I'm still grieving, obviously, and anyone who unfortunately has dealt with the loss of a loved one knows that it's not about the passage of time on a clock. You know, grief comes in waves, and there's many different stages, and everybody has their own process and their own journey with how that affects them and what it blocks them from feeling and what it inspires them to feel, and she's going through all of it. And they do not shy away from complicated emotions in this show, so it's all there. And on this new platform, Greg and Brandon have been allowed to explore this storyline in a much more adult way.
Is it feeling different coming back now? I mean, after the break?
It definitely feels different. Well, the stories are more mature, and it's a darker, sexier, scarier, sadder, more exciting universe a little bit. And you know it already started out good, so they're just a little bit more liberated to tell the story, like I said, in a more evolved adult way. There was a 5-year gap between season 1 and 2, but not in terms of our recording it. But then there was a 5-year gap between recording season 2 and 3, so it's kind of a weird catch-up in some way, you know, in my personal life. When I first started this show, I was young, newly married, I had 2 dogs, it was my first series. Now I've done plenty of series, I've had 3 kids. Both of those dogs have passed away because, you know, they're old, and it's just like so much life has happened. And then you look at our country and the world and social media and everything that's going on, and just, it's great to have a superhero show that talks about all this stuff in very veiled metaphors, and I'm proud to be a part of this. To bring all that
There's a lot of excitement around the show, and the producers were saying everybody wanted to come out. We didn't have to ask anybody. What was it about this show that made you want to hang on to it for so long? Just want to come back.
It's good. It's good storytelling. It's done right. There's so much respect. I feel like these 2 writers, Greg and Brandon, you can trust them, and their knowledge of the universe is so vast, and they don't play around with anything. They don't half-ass anything. You know, they take such care, and they listen, and they learn, and they're sticklers, and they're stubborn for all the right reasons. I always say they really do suffer for their art so that their art doesn't suffer. They do not want to disappoint the fans. They're fans themselves. I mean, it's just a really smart and cared for show. And everybody feels, I think, honored like I do to be a part of it. It's just not an afterthought. It's not a means to an end. It's the thing that we all came out here to do. Tell good stories that matter, that are the same as
But did you honestly, I mean, it seems that everyone has a different answer for this, but did you ever really think it would come back and like all that fan
I'm
movement?
a glass half full person in general. The last couple of years, especially in our country, have challenged that, and so this is one of those places I look to for hope. But yeah, I wanted to believe. I've always kept in touch with Greg and Brandon, and and I watched, how much the social media, interaction grew. It never faded, it grew. And that's always a good sign when you track that.
Thank you.
That's it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good one.
Where's everybody else?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right. What are we talking about?
You tell us.
Yeah.
I really concentrate on all the stuff that I'm not supposed to say. So, ask me a question.
What was it like coming back to a project that's been away for a while and coming back?
It was like a fantastic reunion. It's like a great homecoming. In truth, and it's that people think I'm joking when I say this, but I genuinely didn't have a doubt that it would be coming back. It's just, it's too good a show not, to have a couple more seasons to help finish telling some stories. The boss at Warner Brothers Sam Register has a great quote where he said, I told Greg and Brandon, you guys created the perfect binge-watching show. Just you did it 5 years too early. And he's right. It was popular when it was on, and it was a drag, when it went off. And then along came a little thing called Netflix, and and it was gangbusters. I mean, it's not bragging, just one of the very well-received, highly regarded, rated, shows on Netflix. And so then all of a sudden, hey, we should do another season of it. And I'm not saying which is the chicken, which is the egg, but they spoke to the producers about doing a new season before we knew anything about the streaming service. Like we assumed it was, being made for existing streaming services. And then, a little while into it, we found out that DC Universe is launching its own streaming service, which is going to be awesome. And it's a perfect way to watch this show. You can, you should. Here's my free advice to all you guys: binge watch the first 2 seasons, and then go right into the third.
You don't have to worry about
There's a lot of stuff you don't have to worry about, and a lot of sort of unfettered, some shackles are taken off in terms of storytelling. And it's fantastic for a show like this, which is already, it's a smarter, more mature, more, I'll just call it a sort of deeper, more rich show than a lot. Than average, I would say. And the fact is that ultimately, because it's on the streaming service now, it can be even more fulfilled. So it's a very character-driven show, and so there are all these, really fantastic kind of dramatic moments for a variety of characters that get to be fulfilled in a more significant way than they would be able to on broadcast TV. I would say. And there's nothing gratuitous, nothing like that. It's actually the opposite of gratuitous. It's 100% character and moment driven, and it's just emotionally, it's a more intensified, experience. And, I wish I could tell you guys. Watch the show. Trust me. And you'll know right away what I'm talking about when you see it. I mean, and there are moments in every episode. It's exciting. It's exciting. If you like the first 2 seasons, you are going to love the third season. It's one of those rare instances where I can genuinely say that, in all likelihood, ultimately everything's personal taste, but it should exceed your expectations. So it's exciting. It's exciting to be part of it, and very gratifying. We got to have all these amazing people come back. In addition to which, we got to add, a whole new suite of people. For me specifically, because I'm the casting director and the dialogue director, so I work with all those actors. all of those actors. And to put it in perspective, a common television animation episode, I had 8, 10 actors, in the cast in any particular episode. And sometimes more, sometimes less. This show routinely had, there were several episodes that had 20 to 25 actors in a single episode, and routinely 15, 18. And it's because it's so complex, it's so rich, and it's so character driven. So it takes a lot of characters. One of the jokes I say is when you said it was a DC Universe show, I didn't know the entire universe was going to be in every episode.
Having a trailer, oh my god!
It's but again, it's part of what's crazy about it and maddening, but in all the best ways. It's absolutely one of the most gratifying professional experiences in television, anyway, that I've had. And I've been doing this over 30 years. I've done 3,000 episodes of TV, 80-something movies, and there are, over those decades, a few things that stand out, and this is one of them. Thank you. Is that it?
I have no idea how long we were going.
Hi. Good. How are you guys? Hi.
Ed Greg.
Oh, hey. I recognize your voice.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Which is exactly how long the trailer was.
5-minute
What was
trailer.
that like?
Cutting the trailer?
Yeah. How,
Difficult because we're trying not to give too much of season 3 away. So I know there's quite a bit of season 2 in there, but the whole thing with the trailer was we were really trying to kind of build the trailer around the play factors that we have on Canada. We wanted to focus on characters that have been very affected by the larger storylines that are going on in the show. And Artemis arguably has been, the most deeply affected of the team by some of the events of the previous seasons, and specifically season 2. And then we're introducing Troy Baker as the voice actor for a new character chief for us, Brian Markov, who's new to the show. So we wanted to introduce you to that character as well.
How's the approach changed? Now that you're coming back at the break, and you're on a streaming service, and there are a lot of restrictions.
I'm writing now, and Greg is drawing. We just switched it up a little bit.
It was actually a big mistake.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe season 4 we'll get it right.
No, I think on one level the approach hasn't changed at all, but because we're on a streaming service, we're not on Cartoon Network. We don't have Cartoon Network standards and practices department sort of saying what we can and can't do. That has freed us up. I'd say this season is more mature. It's a little darker. It definitely delves deep into our characters. And it also allows us to delve deeper into the DC universe because it's on a streaming service. You don't have to count on the audience's memory as much. You don't have to worry about, will they remember what happened 12 episodes ago? Well, they can go back and watch that stuff because it's all available to them on the service. So that frees us up to do these deep cuts and these deep dives into the content in a way that I don't think we were always able to do in the past. But in terms of the basic storytelling of it, that I don't think is
the same DNA, the same, and the same dynamic. Like we've always been really collaborative, and that hasn't changed at all. And all the creative process, every aspect of it feeds every other aspect. So for us, it doesn't feel different. There are probably things that we're employing here and there that are like we're adapting to the environment, the way the industry changes sometimes, the way that the work gets done. There are little things that we've adjusted, but it's just been like getting back together with group of creators that you just feel super comfortable with. It's awesome. Pretty organic.
Well, I've got a question for you guys. I'm Eric from Nerdist, by the way. Obviously, just from the promo images, we've seen Nightwing's front and center, and it's called Outsiders. So, was there any inspiration from like the Judd Winnick Outsiders run, which had Nightwing front and center also?
I'm not going to say no, but there's probably more from the original Batman and the Outsiders run. Certainly the first few episodes reflect that. Also, just the nature of our newer characters, Forager, Halo, Geoforce. These are characters who are outsiders. Our season 1 and season 2, those were the proteges of the Justice League, inspired by the adult heroes, and then the younger heroes inspired by their slightly older former proteges. Now we're dealing with people who aren't in that inside world of superheroes, so they are quite literally outsiders, and for a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, Forager is a different species from a different planet. He's about as outside the Earth community as you can get, and he brings a whole new point of view to things. So it's both metaphorical, but it also was sort of inspired by the original Outsiders run. But I've also read the Judd Winnick run, and so there's pieces of that in there as well. It's, as always with our show, it's a mix of all sorts of eras. Sort of try to find a cohesive Earth 16 universe version of the DC universe that works for what our plan is.
Yeah, but we always try to put our own spin on it. We have the designation of Earth 16 from DC, and we've really always played into that to see what we could do to sort of respect these great stories and characters that came before, so that hardcore fans really feel connected to them, the characters they know and love. But serve them up in a slightly different way, so that there's something fresh there, a new take, and a new voice.
Was it luck, or was it like tough getting back the voice cast because everyone was working on
well, everyone wanted to.
Right, yeah, not too tough, really. I think, Jamie Thomason, our voice director, did a lot of those first phone calls to try and get people recruited. But I don't remember anybody saying, "Oh yeah, I've moved on past that." Yeah, everybody was.
We're still offering to pay them. So.
But I think everybody was really excited because a lot of our crew and our cast were very much following along in social media and seeing the fan response. Like after our show went off the air, also when our show became available online. More and more fans kept discovering it, even when it was off of Cartoon Network. Word was being spread, petitions were being signed and also spread, and so there was always like a buzz about the show, even in the years where we weren't being really officially broadcast by Cartoon Network. And so to have that news of us being greenlighted, and that news that we would be on this brand new DC streaming service. There was a lot of excitement about that from everybody, and I think, again, we're good friends with the cast. They wanted to come back and do it anyway, but that just, I think, made it more enticing for everybody to come back.
Yeah, I think as a creative person, whatever your sort of, area is, you can't do a show like this or a project like this without becoming emotionally invested in it. Like, we can't do our best work unless we, pour ourselves into it, and that goes for from script to design to storyboard to voice cast. So I think everybody that was a core, fundamental part of the show had that same level of emotional investment. And as Brandon was saying, I never stopped hearing from fans, and I'm sure it must have been the same for these two and the voice cast. We never stopped hearing from them over the years that we were gone, so it was definitely something that we were all just really excited to get back into.
In the show, what's the time span between seasons 2 and 3?
Yeah, we're not saying.
That's a secret.
We've said
there's a
there's
time skip. We've said there's a time skip, but we're specifically not saying how long.
In the first 2 seasons, the Justice League is kind of like a very looming presence in the background. We're going to see more or less of that.
Both.
Yeah. I mean, I think
More or less.
Yeah. I think, all of the things that you liked about season 1 and 2, you're going to see elements like that again in season 3. So the Justice League presence, the interplay of generations.
There's an analog, like sort of.
Yeah, we found a new way to kind of represent everything that you know and love from the first 2 seasons.
There's definitely callbacks and thematic echoes that sort of we carry through.
Yeah.
The characters, I assume, will be further developed between 1 and 2. Obviously, a lot of change. Same thing, I assume, for this, however long it is.
There's definitely been, there's been growth. There's been dealing with loss. There's been all sorts of stuff happening in the interim. Things took place, some of which we'll reveal up front, some of which will, peel the onion back and you'll get later in the season, and some of which, you may still wonder about. But everything you need to know will be there. But yeah, everyone is still moving forward. That's one of the unique things about our show, I think, that makes it kind of special is the passage of time in a way that the fans can follow. We have those timestamps, a decision I regret every time I have to do math to figure them out. Oh, believe me, time zones is math. It allows you to track how old characters are and how much time has passed, and I think that's something sort of unique because most shows, animation, even live action shows, live in a kind of always now, and time doesn't seem to pass in a lot of ways. On MASH, the Korean War lasted for 11 years, but in our show, there's this passage of time that you can track, and you can see how the characters grow and mature with that. And that's a really key, important grounding element in the series.
Are we done or? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Hope so.
That's fine. Thanks, man. Okay.
I haven't seen you in a while.
What'd you say?